Hey everyone and welcome. In this video we look at more party politics by our so-called great teachers and their union. This is an article showing that the unions think they can stop schools reopening in September. It's titled, Early Finish. Some schools may only reopen until lunch in September as heads and unions defy government vow to return full-time. Schools may defy the government's wish to have all children in classroom full-time in September by reopening for half days. And your turn.
And I do believe that we have rotten politics, and I'm not using that as an exaggeration.
Now, I've done videos on teachers and the union before. They're all Tory-hating Labour activist indoctrinators for Marxism, in my opinion. This is more proof. Do you think these idiots care about the well-being and future of your child's whole lives? Do you think they would be happy if furlough stopped? In my opinion, Tories should, if they do this, they should stop all funds to teachers and unions and schools till they do. Let's read this rubbish, shall we? Bear in mind, not one child has ever given a teacher lurger. Not bloody one. And then tell me after, it's not just bullshit party politics with your children as ammunition. Parents are receiving emails from schools telling them that they will educate their child only until lunchtime for at least 1 day a week, report says. It comes after hardline teaching unions threatened many schools won't reopen at all in September amid fears over lurgy safety measures. Some schools will be doing this twice a week and some may close at an earlier time on all 5 days. Homeschooling sounding very attractive now, is it not? Head teachers claim schools need to close early so staff can carry out the extra safety measures caused by the pandemic, including more time for deep cleaning, Mail Online reports. One teacher has died from the virus in the UK and they didn't pick it up from school, according to papers from the government's advisory group SAGE. The average number of confirmed lurgy cases among children is close to zero. Remember that, close to zero. And it's believed no child has needed hospital treatment since the beginning of June. And then it was only because of underlying health conditions. 3 teachers needed hospital care over the same period. Several schools will reportedly send their children home early at least one afternoon a week so teachers can plan lessons and mark work. They have the evening for that. The schools finish early and they stay in school a couple of hours after that for that specific reason. This is teachers trying to get out of more and more work. Sorry, but the rest of us have to go back. Teachers will do their marking while a teaching assistant would take over the class. But schools say this is difficult as teachers and students remain in a bubble. It's feared that children will miss out on more education after already losing almost half a year of schooling they will never get back because of lockdown. Primary schools and nurseries began to reopen on June the 1st for children in reception, years 1 and 6 in nursery. So effectively, primary schools and nurseries have been open since June the 1st. Not one teacher has gotten ill from that. Not one. And yet the union think it's acceptable to use our children as ammunition against us and the Tories. Am I wrong? Let's continue. Education Secretary Gavin Williamson announced the government's intention to send all pupils back to school for the start of the new academic year. Early finishes will also be an inconvenience to parents who are planning to return to normal work routines by the autumn, if they've still got a job, that is. Teachers are entitled to an amount of planning, preparation and assessment time during the school week. Yes, they are. Do a 9 to 5. There you go. In fact, do an 8 to 5, 8 to 6. You've got plenty of time then. Oh no, you don't want to do that, do you? Why? Laser. Only joking, I know plenty of decent teachers. This is a joke though. This is really getting ridiculous. They are literally using the schools as a weapon to beat the Tories over the head with. How is that looking after children? On top of that, they're also attacking the parents, aren't they? Because you can't go back to work if you can only do half a day. Which company is going to keep you on if you suddenly turn around and say, I can only do Monday full day, Tuesday it's an half day, Wednesday's an half day, Friday I can do an half day, Thursday I'm in full day. And they go, really? Okay, bye. But the teachers and the union won't care about that, will they? The need to keep pupils and adults apart in consistent bubbles may make this harder, and some schools may decide to close earlier than 1 day a week. I don't even know why we've got to do that. Since June the 1st, no cases. It's an example of the dilemma facing schools in the autumn. You know what the dilemma facing schools is? Teachers, heads and unions. That's the dilemma facing schools. It's got nothing to do with the lurgy or children. I'm sorry for getting angry, but this is really peeing me off. I'm hoping it pees you off as well. Shorter school days adds an extra layer of confusion for parents after teaching unions warn that many establishments won't open their doors in September. Dr. Mary Boosted, joint head head of the National Education Union said that many schools would find opening their doors to pupils impossible, despite 6 months out of education for some kids. These people want zero lurgy. Let me sink that in for you. Zero. It's a flu-style virus. Have we ever got rid of the flu? Which means they don't ever want to go back to school while there is any lurgy. Think I'm wrong? Check out some of the videos from teachers. Go on, I dare you. And the unions. In a recorded Zoom meeting by the Daily Telegraph, Dr. Boosted told members they can't trust the government's advice. Really? So a teacher is now trying to tell the government that are advised by scientists that they don't know what they're talking about. How is this not party political? I'm sorry, but it is, isn't it? You can put doctor in front of Dr. Boosted. They're not a doctor, are they, if they just do education union? They're the head of a national education union. That's not doctor. Talking through a back crack, I think. Local authorities and schools should take the confidence to do what they can do, and that will mean for many schools that they cannot have all children fully back in September. Now the government's making threatening noises about that, but in the end they won't be able to carry out their threats. 9 out of 10 parents back the full reopening of schools next month. So it's against the parents, it's against the children, and it's against the government for their own political stance, is it not? The Office for National Statistics found 88% of parents were likely or fairly likely to send their kids back to class. The Department for Education said that getting all kids back into the classroom was a national priority. One source said, no name of the source, there is absolutely no reason for schools to stay closed. The guidelines are in place for a safe return. The latest poll shows 90% of parents are in favour of schools going back to in full. And Labour also support a full return of schools. Do they really? Do they really? Teachers are Labourites. I'm thinking maybe they don't really. They just say they do. Bluff and bluster, smoke and mirrors. But Professor Neil Ferguson warned that secondary schools might have to go back part-time as new science shows teens spread the virus as much as adults. Really? Where's the evidence? Prove it. Go on, Ferguson. And even when you do, we won't believe you because you lie, don't you, mister? Professor Chris Whitty, oh, here's another one that's full of shit. Warned last week that England may have reached the limits of what it can safely reopen without a spike in cases. That idiot wanted to shut pubs so that we could get the schools open again. You show me the logic involved in that. Unless the only people in the pubs are the teachers getting pissed. Maybe it's that. Maybe he thinks all the teachers are just too busy getting slaughtered. Wouldn't surprise me with all of the crap that came out of this article, to be honest. Now, what's my opinion on this? Get rid of the unions, obviously. I've really despised unions since I first started working, for good reason. I would also issue a statement if I was the Tories along the lines of, schools will open in September as mandated. If any teacher wishes not to go to work, that is your choice, and we the government acknowledge that. We also acknowledge that children's whole lives are backed by good consistent schooling, and as such they take priority. If you wish to resign, that would be preferable. Too strong? Also, I'd personally go after the unions and the finances. Unions are corrupt in my opinion. They always have been, pretending to care for the workers. They don't. They're just middleman for elites. On top of that, I'm sick to death of teachers and unions and Labour using our own children against us. The last teachers union I did a video on, the lady stated on camera she worried that due to lurgy, parents might be brainwashing their own children and radicalising them. I shit you not. Sorry for the swearing, but this really gets my goat. She also said all teachers are Marxists. Let me emphasise a specific word. All. See where I'm going with this? Now, I'd like to know your opinion on this. Is it just more disgustingness from teachers and more party political bullshit? Do you think they actually have a point on anything? Do you think going back to school is a bad idea? Do you think our children are going to be able to do this much non-schooling and be able to recover it so that they have a normal life for the future? Because if you think about it, every other kid that hasn't gone through school recently, like the older ones and the ones that are a bit younger, they're going to have all of their education, aren't they? How is this generation going to compete in the workplace, on the job market, in the finances? How are they going to be able to compete? How are they going to be able to make up a year missing? They're not, are they? They're not. Unless we keep kids in longer after school, instead of doing 16 they finish, do 17 just for this lot, they're never going to get it back. And I really worry about their futures, to be honest. But let me know what you think, everyone. If you're new, don't forget to hit the little like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon, make sure you put it on all so it notifies you when I go up with a video, so you won't miss anything, hopefully. If YouTube do the job, please do your job, YouTube. Stay safe, everyone. Share it out if you want to help the channel, and I'll see you on the next one.